Welcome to Golden Aging Health. People often say there are two things we can never take back: time and words. Once they are gone, they leave their imprint forever. Time etches itself into the lines of our faces, but words carve far deeper, shaping the secret places of the heart. A single phrase can lift a tired spirit, or leave scars no eye can see, yet they remain for a lifetime. Think back for a moment. Have you ever carried with you a tender sentence that felt like a blessing, something that stayed long after it was spoken? Or maybe you still remember a careless remark that returned to you in silence, echoing like an unwelcome ghost. Words are free, yet their weight can be heavier than stone. Now imagine approaching love after 60 like pressing the same button on a vending machine. Again and again, nothing comes out, because men are not machines. Older men carry layers of silence, memories, and unspoken longing. To reach them, you must learn to speak the language of the heart. Before we go deeper, please like, share, and subscribe to uncover the gentle truths of love, respect, and connection in later life. And this leads us to our first insight: the quiet but undeniable power of words.
1. The power of words. Before we explore what men secretly long for, we must pause and recognize something so ordinary that most of us underestimate it: the quiet power of words. They may slip from our mouths in seconds, yet their echoes remain for years. Someone once compared kind words to a small flame in a darkened room. They do not erase the night, but they create enough light to guide the next step. In contrast, harsh words, just a few sharp syllables, can fall into a man's heart like a heavy stone, leaving ripples of pain that never fully fade. It is easy to imagine older men as unbreakable. Their shoulders carried families, their hands built homes, their faces bear the map of endurance. From the outside, they appear solid and unmoved. Yet inside, words cut deeper than most will admit. A broken bone can mend, but the sentence, "You are not enough," may shape how he sees himself for decades. And the reverse is equally true. Words of respect and appreciation can awaken what has lain dormant. I recall a retired carpenter who once shared his deepest ache. It was not his aching knees or slower pace that troubled him. Most, it was the silence of not being acknowledged. Then, one evening, his wife gently touched his arm and whispered, "I am proud of all you have given us." That simple phrase lifted a burden he had carried for half a lifetime. It was not praise from strangers he craved. It was the quiet recognition from the one closest to him. In love after 60, words are no longer decoration. They are nourishment. A man may look strong enough to carry the weight of the world, but what presses heaviest on his spirit is often the memory of what has been spoken over him. Words can close the gates of his heart, or they can open them wide. And so we must ask, if language holds such power, what do men in their later years most yearn to hear?
2. What men really need. When you look at a man who seems steady, dependable, even unshakable, have you ever wondered what lies behind that quiet mask? He may appear simple in his routines, predictable in his habits, but men are not carved from stone. Inside, they carry hidden layers of feeling, pressed down beneath what I often call the armor of silence. From boyhood, many were taught not to cry, not to stumble, and to keep walking no matter how heavy the burden grew. Seneca once said, "To live is sometimes an act of courage." For countless men, the daily endurance of silence becomes their version of bravery. Yet that silence also prevents others from seeing the tender truth within. Society tells women that men want beauty, energy, or youth. But when you look deeper, especially in love beyond 60, what men truly long for is something far more human. They yearn for safety. The kind of safety where they can breathe easily, lower their guard, and know they will not be judged against impossible standards. An older man does not search for glitter, nor does he need a partner who dazzles the world. What matters most is the presence of someone who makes him feel at home. He values peace over performance, presence over perfection. As Khalil Gibran wrote, "Tenderness and kindness are not signs of weakness, but of strength and determination." That is the gift men quietly crave, the space where their strength is recognized, yet their tenderness is embraced. Have you ever seen a man soften in your presence when he finally felt safe? I would love to hear your reflections in the comments below. Your story may be the spark that helps another woman open her heart with courage. And this brings us naturally to the next foundation of lasting love, the deep and transformative power of respect.
3. Respect, the core of love. A woman can say, "I love you 1,000 times," but if those words are followed by constant correction, subtle comparisons, or quiet dismissals, their weight begins to disappear. On the other hand, a single phrase of genuine respect can strengthen a man more than flowers, gifts, or even the warmest embrace. I once spoke with a woman named Margaret, who had been married to her husband Henry for more than 40 years. She told me something unforgettable. Love and respect are not the same, and her mistake of confusing the two nearly cost her their closeness. She always loved him, but in their early years, she often pointed out where he fell short, what was missing, and how he could do better. She thought she was helping him grow, but instead she watched him withdraw. He spent longer hours in the garage, fewer moments laughing at the dinner table. Gradually, his presence became more distant, more shadow than substance. Then one evening, almost by accident, she said, "I admire how steady you have been for our family." She remembered how his shoulders relaxed instantly, as though a heavy load had finally slipped away. From that day forward, she changed the way she spoke. She still expressed love, but she allowed respect to lead her words. Over time, their marriage softened, warmed, and regained a new life. By the time a man reaches 60, he has likely heard "I love you" used in ways that did not always match the truth. What he longs for now is not romance without substance, but recognition. To hear, "I notice what you do," or "I respect how you carry yourself," is to receive nourishment his soul has been thirsting for. Love may shine like sunlight, but no flower can thrive on sunlight alone. Respect is the water that allows roots to reach deep, keeping life strong through every season. Safety may give a man courage to open the door, but respect is what convinces him to remain inside. Yet even respect, as powerful as it is, must join hands with something rarer still, the courage to be vulnerable and the trust that makes such openness possible.
4. Vulnerability and trust. There comes a moment in every relationship when even respect is not enough to sustain closeness. Something deeper is required, something fragile, yet immensely powerful. the courage to open one's heart through vulnerability and trust. I often picture two people standing face to face, yet both are wrapped in heavy armor. They can look into each other's eyes. They can even speak, but the steel between them keeps intimacy at a distance. The same shield that protects also prevents real connection. For many older men, this armor has been forged over a lifetime. Each layer was built from early lessons. Do not cry. Do not complain. Do not falter. Society applauded the mask of toughness and quietly punished tenderness. With time, the armor thickened until even loved ones struggled to reach the person hidden inside. Yet one of the gifts of love after 60 is the chance to finally lay that burden down, to step out of the suit of iron and allow oneself to be truly seen. Lao Tzu once wrote, "He who conquers others is strong, but he who conquers himself is mighty." In later years, real strength is not about how long a man can carry his armor, but about the bravery to take it off. And the only way he dares to do this is through trust, the assurance that when he lowers his guard, he will not be met with judgment, but with acceptance. It is like opening a long-closed window. The breeze that enters is gentle, yet it completely changes the air. Vulnerability, when paired with trust, replaces loneliness with fresh life. Simple phrases like, "I believe in you," or "I am by your side," are not small reassurances. They are freedom for a man who has carried silent burdens for decades. Have you ever witnessed a man soften when he finally felt safe enough to reveal his hidden truth? I invite you to share your reflections in the comments below. Your words may be the encouragement another woman needs to open her own heart. Respect may be the foundation of love, but trust and vulnerability are the doors that let intimacy live inside. And as we will soon see, even the most powerful words must also arrive at the right time.
5. Timing is everything. A woman once told me a story about her husband. She noticed how he sometimes came home carrying the weight of the world in the way he walked. One evening, she tried to comfort him quickly, saying, "You will be fine, you always manage." But instead of bringing relief, her words seemed to deepen his silence. Later that night, when the house was quiet and the day's demands had faded, she gently placed her hand on his arm and whispered, "I know today was hard, but I admire the way you carry so much for us." At that moment, his walls finally lowered. Tears filled his eyes, and for the first time in years, he allowed her to see the tenderness he usually kept hidden. This is the mystery of words. Their strength does not lie in the sound alone, but in their timing. When spoken too soon or too late, they can wound more than silence. But when spoken in season, they become medicine to the soul. For men in their later years, timing matters even more. After decades of habits, disappointments, and unspoken lessons, their hearts open slowly. Sometimes they need space before tenderness can reach them. Other times they need quiet before encouragement will truly sink in. Words, no matter how sincere, must find the right rhythm of his spirit. I often compare it to planting seeds. Even the best seeds cannot grow on hard, untouched soil. The ground must first be softened. In the same way, words of love and respect must fall at the right moment to take root. Emotional intelligence in love after 60 is not only about what you say, but when you say it. A gentle phrase spoken with patience can feel like shelter to a weary heart,
The very same phrase offered in haste may sound empty. And this reveals the deeper secret. The words men cannot resist gain their true power not from eloquence, but from perfect timing. They become nourishment only when his heart is ready to receive them.
As we have seen, love after 60 is not built on grand gestures or dazzling romance, but on something far more enduring. It lives in the quiet power of words, in the safety of being truly seen, in the respect that sustains the soul, in the courage to be vulnerable, and in the wisdom to speak at the right time. These are the hidden treasures that men carry close to their hearts, though few will ever confess them aloud. When you choose to speak with tenderness, respect, and patience, you do more than communicate. You restore. You breathe life back into places that have grown silent. And you remind the man beside you that love is still possible, still alive, still worth opening his heart for, no matter the season of life. If this message spoke to you, please remember to like, share, and subscribe so more women can discover the quiet truths of love after 60. Thank you for spending this time with me. Until we meet again, take care of your spirit and keep tending the garden of love that still has the power to bloom in every season.